Hey, good evening and welcome to our pre show. We're really starting to put things together right now. We're just pulling some things up and wanting to make sure everybody was aware of what we're going on tonight. And we wanted to give a little something for everybody because this really is a very unique show. Okay. Uh, we want to bring awareness to all types of domestic, if you will. Types of violence, and it can come from the workplace, it can come from your friends that you think are your friends, and your spouses, especially on this holiday when everybody is so stressed and there's things that could happen. This is about you guys. We want to be able to help you. So there you'll be see listings on the banner for special numbers to contact if you feel like you're in that position. If you feel like you have no way out, look, you have the non-emergency numbers, you have the suicide number, you have the domestic violence hotline. Utilize them. Utilize them. If you feel like you're in a bad space or in a bad place, don't keep yourself there. You're your individual. This is not the time of season to be unhappy. So check out the numbers that we have. If you need to talk to somebody, there's someone there for you. Always. Remember that. You're not alone.
The engine is starting up. Three, two, one.
Is there anyone here that would like to communicate with us?
Putting a dip in your hip, a glide in your stride. Welcome to the mothership, the home of the travelers of the universe, with shows throughout the week. Everything you want, everything you could need. From the paranormal to the supernatural, from the spiritual to the unknown, from emotions to comedy. You can find us at Facebook, Twitch, YouTube, TikTok, Instagram, and so much more. This is Rift Nation Network, the RNN. And now, your featured show. Shall we begin?
Sensitive/offensive content disclaimer. Please note that this podcast may contain material that some listeners may find sensitive, offensive, or disturbing. We strive to create respectful and informative content, but topics discussed may include mature themes such as violence, explicit language, or controversial subjects, triggering content including discussions related to mental health, trauma, or other sensitive issues, explicit language. Occasionally, our guests or hosts may use strong language. While we aim to handle these topics with care and empathy, we encourage listeners to exercise discretion. If you find any content distressing, consider skipping or seeking support. Remember that this podcast is not a substitute for professional advice. If you need assistance, please consult a qualified expert.
Good evening, travelers and those alike. Welcome to the Orion Effect right here on the RNN. Tonight's show is brought to you by Bitches Paranormal, best equipment for the best person at the best price. Also brought to you by Stanton, Virginia, the GOS, Ghosts of Stanton. Check them out. It sounds like we've got Ryan. Rhonda, are you hearing that? It sounds like distortion a little bit.
Let me make sure it's not my heater.
It was your heater.
Does that go away? Is it gone now?
Yeah, it's gone now. You're good. Keep warm. I'm all about it.
I think I'll be okay for an hour.
That's right. Travelers and those like, thank you for joining us. We do have a few things before we bring on a special guest. I was actually talking to our special guest in the green room earlier, and I was like, we're going to do it this, and this. And I'm like, oh, man, we've got to make some announcements first. Oh, man. So we're going to do something special for them.
Okay.
Something special, as always, I plan. As Sarah likes to say, I'm diabolical in the way I go about things. Okay, now.
Hey, all that matters is if you get it done. Doesn't matter how you get there.
Get it done! So we do have some special announcements. First, to our very own staff member of the network who are part of the Outlaws, Paranormal Outlaws. A huge happy birthday to Jim the Hangman Livingston. Happy birthday to you, sir. And congratulations to our very own Sarah Casey getting her Masters of OT.
Yes.
What? On Friday?
So proud of her.
Oh, what a long weekend it has been.
Yes. Y'all been at it steady since Thursday.
Since Thursday night, we've been going boom, boom, boom. We had graduation on Friday, which was all day long.
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah. Then Saturday, we had a long day. Then we went to Lynchburg and partaked in an event there with HCP, Hill City Paranormal. Oh, I see he's already in here. He's hanging out. That's right. And you're welcome. So we had that. And then today, of course, we had family time with everybody. So that was really nice. So before we get started, I'm going to hand this back over to you and get these hellos and what's ups going on. And I see there's more people out there than I'd say anything. Join the fun. Say hello.
That's right. Well, hello, Robert Drell. We know you are the better half of one of our guests that are getting ready to join us. Hello, Jen Jacobs. Good to see you. Hello, Keith Ottersberg and Lois Clark. And please let us know you're here so that we can say hi to you.
Absolutely, absolutely. Now, before we bring on our and there goes Mama Susan just
Hi,
popped in there.
Jen.
This is going to be an interesting show. And before we do get into that, let's talk a little bit about that. It is about domestic violence, and a lot of people have been through it, male and female, both partners, friends, and family. And depression rolls right along with this right now. There's several causes, okay, of this unnecessary violence. Make sure one thing is for you, it's awareness. Be aware of those around you, those people, and how are because domestic violence is not just physical.
Right,
Okay.
right.
So be aware of that as we talk about that tonight. There's numbers for you to contact. We'll be flashing them up. In fact, we're going to flash them up in just a few minutes. But until that, we've got a little something special. We're going to go ahead and jump right into it tonight because we do not want to miss any time as we get ready to do the things that need to be done and the people that need to come to the show as we prepare for that such thing. Please bear with me. I'm not feeling the best, but I am up to par, if you will. I'm going to do this. I'm going to pop that, and we're going to get ready to have our special guests. And we're bringing them live to you right now, ladies and gentlemen. Booze, bitches, paranormal in the house.
Woo!
Hello.
Hello, everybody.
What
Hi,
a
Gwen.
wonderful.
Hi, Rhonda. Hi, Ed.
Hello, hello.
Good
Hello.
to see y'all tonight.
Same. We're looking
How's
Huge
forward to
everybody?
shout
all
out to
week.
Sarah for her master's degree. That's a huge achievement.
She
Tell her
Yes.
that we're giving her the big whoop whoop.
whoop whoop.
Double fist.
That's right.
That's
She
quite the
said, "Thank
accomplishment.
you."
Quite
Yes,
the
Huge
accomplishment.
accomplishment.
Yes.
she is. She is a wondered 5'11" wallet of all the power, if you will.
Yes.
Everybody's like, what? I'm 5'1", man. She's a little power pack. She's our Taz.
Hey, look, Loper picks on me all the time. He calls me 5'1" reign of terror.
Hey, that's okay. The smaller, the more powerful. That's
She ain't
something.
lying.
Yeah.
She may be tiny, but she is mighty.
That's what I am talking about. And ladies, welcome to the Orion Effect. Your first time here, and we are so thankful that you allowed to come on the season show, that being the holiday season.
Well, thank you for having us.
Absolutely.
I love the backgrounds.
Yeah.
Tracy and I were talking. She goes, "How do you like it?" I'm like, "I love that." And then, of course,
Gorgeous.
Gwen has got the tree of life behind her.
Yes. I got my
Amazing.
little Yule altar going on here. I live in a little apartment, so I don't have so much space, but I make the best of it. Yeah.
Make the best of what you do. Exactly right. We have a lot of special people in chat. Oh, Marion just showed up. Jen, of course, is here. Chris Fox Roden is back. Hello, everybody. Our brother
Hi,
from-
everybody. My goodness.
Everybody's starting to jump in. I love it when
Love
they
that.
Yes.
Love that.
So I have some questions. Sure, Rhonda's going to have some questions. And as we do that, we're all gathered here in this commune tonight. So, ladies, how did booze get started?
It was a crazy little thing. A friend of mine was wearing a T-shirt that said "Boo Bitch," And I thought, no, wouldn't that be cool? So I approached her and said, we should start a group, but we need a theme. The theme came up because I am a domestic violence and sexual assault hospital nurse. Um, my job is to be there when someone has gone through one of these events and to make sure that they're treated properly, that all the care that they need to have given is given. And it's been something I've been doing since I survived my own sexual assault back in high school and my own domestic violence through my first husband. So you were mentioning earlier that just domestic violence happens on many different accounts. There's not only sexual assault, there's mental, there's financial, there's separating you from your family members. There's so many different categories of abuse, and people sometimes don't even realize they're in the cycle of it.
Exactly.
And the holidays is one of the times that we see peak rise in assault and peak rise in domestic violence because money is very, very tight. This is a very sad holidays for many people. Um, Divorces happen this time of year. It's a lot of different things trigger it. But how Boo Bitches came about is we wanted to start a group that was able to support the survivors of sexual assault and domestic violence and provide them a safe place to investigate. So that people that have gone through it that might be afraid to be with men in a group or might be uncomfortable around women knew that they were in a safe space, that if they were uncomfortable, it would be handled, and that it would bring awareness to our paranormal teams worldwide that this is something that does happen. And then Gwen was kind enough to join me in this adventure, and I still am absolutely excited that she's here, and I think she's nuts for doing it, but
No, I
Just
gotta be a
to,
little crazy.
Jen
just tell the
Jacobs, I
truth,
want to.
Tracy. You kidnapped me. No.
I did. I threw her in a bag and shanghaied her. Or Shanghai, what is it? Shanghaiing? You knock her out and drag her away. Somebody I want to point out in the comment section, just because she also does the same kind of thing as Jen Jacobs and her group Eclipse Paranormal. She
Yes.
hosts the women and the men's paranormal conferences. She's also hosting the next Firelands conference that she's doing. But she also has a group that does the same thing we do. She's been doing it for many years beyond what we've done. So I just want to point her out. I want to thank her for all the work she's done, for all of the advocacy that she does, and make sure that everybody goes and checks out her pages as well and checks out Firelands. Just because I see her in the comments along with my friend Maureen, and they're working really hard to make these things happen too. So we're trying to get the word out that domestic violence happens. It needs to be recognized and that there's help available. And I think it's really important to know you have safe places and safe people that you can go to and say, hey, I'm really struggling right now.
I agree.
Agreed.
Thank you for letting me point them out. She's been doing it for about 10 years longer than I have, maybe even more. And we met because we share the same platform, and I'm just really blessed to know her too. So she has been an absolute anchor and helping me to kind of find my foot as a group leader and find locations and to find people who will team up with me. And one of the teaming things that we did is we got a really great group of people together and we're able to go to Wildwood Sanitarium and Hinsdale House this summer. And
Wow.
that was a fantastic trip. And one of the things our group does is everywhere we investigate, we donate profits from our ticket sales and from our group donations to the local women's shelter in the area where we investigate. And we do that worldwide. So, Gwen, you want to tell them where we're going?
You talking about our upcoming adventure?
Tear it up, girl.
Well, we are partnering with Terra Tours of Ireland. Some good friends of ours, Liam and Kat, are organizing a lovely Samhain tour for 2025
Wow.
in
No.
Ireland. And we're going to be going over there. Did we decide it was going to be for 8 days? Or was it
It hasn't even been ironed out yet based on how much we want to do. I mean, it can be anywhere from
yeah.
8 days to 10 days.
Yeah,
So
they're still
because
ironing
our
out the
itinerary
details.
is, yeah, our itinerary is thick. And I mean, THICC thick. We got a
Basically,
lot to do.
it's not going to be your typical group of like a large bus of people going around seeing the most popular sites and taking in the sounds and food. This is going to be more of a smaller group that's going to be able to fit on one of these smaller buses, like a van bus type thing. Okay, we're going to be
Mhm.
traveling around to some of the known and maybe not as well known haunted locations. And this will
Mm.
not be for the faint of heart. You will have to be able to walk. You will have to be able to like to maybe camp out on the ground. We're going to be doing some overnight investigations. Stuff
I
like
have
that.
those
We will be staying in a few hotels, but the
They'll be
goal
haunted.
they will be haunted, but the goal is to actually do overnight investigations at these other locations. And I will say, some of these locations we've been to before. Tracy and I have been to before, and
They're amazing.
I was so thrilled with these locations, but we weren't able to stay at them long. One of them we were able to stay at longer than the other one, but I'm so thrilled to be able to, maybe because they're trying to work these locations. Like, again, nothing's in stone; it's still being worked out. But I really want to go back to a couple of these locations. One of them is the Westport House, which
Okay.
is where the Irish pirate queen, the rest of her dungeon, Grace O'Malley, the rest of
Yes.
her original dungeon is still there.
Now,
I
now
was in her
going,
dungeon. Yeah, I was in her
you,
dungeon the last time we
you,
went.
you were talking my kind of language right now.
Get
You
on the
know
Okay,
that,
bus,
right?
get on the bus,
Arr.
yes.
so we
I will
really,
raise the colors.
Yes.
and I
Tickets
feel
are
a
gonna be.
really, I just feel a really unique draw to Grace. I really hadn't shared those experiences and why I do. I'm saving that for later. But another location that's really on our hit list that we've been to before and we want to go back. And it's funny because it's one of the episodes that I've been working on recently for my Tell Me More episodes that's on my YouTube channel, is Lep Castle. Sean Ryan and his family own that. They live there, and they were gracious enough the last time we were there that they did something special that they typically don't do, but because they know Mai, who ran the tours, and they know Liam, and who guided the tour for us when the last time we went through. What they did was they prepared their family's recipe, of their Irish stew, and
Yeah.
he played on his whistle and sang us songs in front of the huge fireplace as we
Oh,
feasted on the stew that they prepared for us.
oh,
Sean
hope
is
you
a
So,
enjoyed that.
world famous tin whistle piper.
yes, I
Yes.
have
You
his
can look him up and
CD.
watch his
I
videos. He's
I have
amazing.
his CD. I was totally fangirling. I was like, "Can you sign this?" I was totally fangirling. So, but Sean is such a lovely soul. He is so down to earth. He is just so, I mean, he's so knowledgeable of everything. I mean, you could pick up a rock and say, "What kind of rock is this?" And he could tell you. Okay, I mean, he's
He'd
brilliant.
tell you what Irish clan it carried it to. I mean, he's
Wow.
really
Right,
got. He really knows
because
it.
he was going around the room and everybody was telling them what their maiden name was, or what their last name is, and he was like,
Yeah.
"Oh, that derives from this, that, and the other." And people were googling it, and they were like, "Son of a bitch."
Right. He knows.
He's a
So I mean, the man
walking
is a
Celtic
wealth of
encyclopedia.
knowledge. He's
Wow.
a wealth of knowledge. And when you ask him about his take on the paranormal within the castle, he's like, "Well, of course it's haunted." He's like, "But it's, you can't think everything is evil,
Right.
And I was like, "Well, my take is, if you were a jerk in life, you're going to be a jerk in death."
True.
And
Ah, crap.
he just thought that was great. He was like, "Yes, yes," but so we're hoping to be able to go back to Lep Castle, and maybe I'm gonna let y'all in on something. Should I tell them, Tracy?
Uh-oh.
Should I
Uh-oh.
tell them?
You can a few secrets, little ones, but nothing's guaranteed because it's still all
Nothing's
in
guaranteed,
process.
but
But
keep
we
your
got some good leads and some really good. We're also working in cahoots with Jenny Sullivan, and I don't know if you know her, but she's from the Irish Paranormal Emerald Isle Paranormal team,
Yes.
and she and I have been in cahoots for a little bit. So she's going to be popping in on a couple of our investigations and has given us some amazing leads and contacts. So
Beautiful.
Go ahead, Glenn. Look at her. She's like darn near vibrating over there.
I can feel the energy.
Go ahead, girl. Spill.
But one of the things I'm hoping that can really happen is for an overnight stay. Don't know if it's going to happen or not, because although they open it to the public, it is still their home, and I respect that.
Right.
Is if we can stay overnight in the Bloody Tower.
Oh,
Bloody
Ooh.
terrible. Yep.
okay. Yeah, I can see why
Ooh.
you'd be slobbering over that one.
I think
Yes.
that would be phenomenal. Now, the thing about this tour is it's going to be very limited spaces.
Right.
Just how limited, you say?
I
How
was
many
getting
did we
ready
say,
to ask.
Tracy? How many did
Well,
we
let's
say?
see. You're already on there with Loper. I'm already on there with Robbie, and there are 4 seats left. We
Oh,
might
wow.
have 6 if we open it up, but there are 8 seats on this bus total. So it's not going to be cheap, but it's going to be a paranormal investigation of Ireland that's not going to be able to be beat.
And
So,
it probably a one in a lifetime chance.
Yeah.
yeah, that's what we're hoping.
Yeah.
Oh, and Tracy decided to ding me as the ambassador. Hi.
Oh, of course.
And our author in residence, hello,
Right.
Embrace My Strange. Come on now.
Can I jump in here real quick and say something? Because
Sure.
you just hit on something that I want to say, because we know the theme. We know y'all are here to help fight against violence and domestic
Yes.
dispute, etc. The other thing I want to say is, for those people who are wanting to jump into a relationship really quick, stop,
Take a
drop,
breath.
and roll.
Yeah.
Wait, give yourself time, weeks, maybe even a year or whatever. Get to know that person first, because the snake always smiles at you first.
Yeah.
Love
Just-
bombing is a real thing.
Yes.
Narcissistic love bombing and abuse love bombing. So let's talk about the cycle of abuse for just a second. We
Let's do
have
Yes.
the honeymoon stage where everything is lovey-dovey and perfect and wonderful.
Mm-hmm.
Then you're gonna notice as the calendar moves, it's think of it as a clock. Now we're moving into the 4 o'clock area. The honeymoon stage is over. Things aren't so great anymore, and you're starting to make mistakes. Those mistakes are being held against you by your abuser, and you're starting to walk on eggshells. You're beginning to get very uncomfortable. The next thing is you're going to have the fight. You're going to have the blow up. Now, the first fight might only be getting yelled at or screamed at. It might escalate. You might get slapped around, pushed around. It might escalate further. The next time around the clock, you might get hit. It might escalate the next time. They might hurt your children. Might escalate the next time. I've heard people killing their animals on the phone when advocating for the client at the hospital. I've heard man strangle a dog to death over the
we know we
phone.
had that this year.
And
we had that in the paranormal this year.
all of that stuff goes on. But then there's the baby. I will never do it again. I'm so sorry. Here come the new cars, the flowers, the roses, the diamonds, the promises. And then you're back in the honeymoon stage.
You want to hear
it'll
something real quick?
continue all around again and get worse every time.
You want to hear something real quick?
Sure.
If y'all can hear. Hey, Sarah.
Yeah.
Do I get you flowers?
Yes.
But how often? I don't really do flowers because I think that's a cheap way out. I only do it for special occasions. I will refuse to do flowers because of some of the situation. If you're going to be honest, be honest. But if you're going to be crooked, you're going to be crooked, and you'll be seen for it. You really will.
Yeah. And you sometimes don't even realize you're in that wheel until someone explains this. And it's literally called the cycle of abuse. It's what we're taught as advocates to help people understand, where are you in the wheel? Well, when I'm sitting with you in a hospital room and you've got a broken arm and your kid's beat up and the guy's killing your dog on the phone, let me tell you, sweetheart, you're in the abusive stage.
Yeah.
And it's not going to get better. That's when you have to get out. So a lot of folks don't realize they're in it because they think it's all physical abuse.
Right.
It's not. It also
Right.
happens with money. Do you have somebody who constantly spends every dime you make?
Or do you have somebody that rifles through your things to take your cards away from you as punishment?
Right.
Yep, they take your credit cards, they'll close your checking account. They might even have your car made into a cube so you can't drive anywhere. They separate you from your family. They make you feel you're crazy. And they all blame it on you. It's always your fault. Look what you made me do. Thank
Yep.
you
Yeah.
for the deal. But look what you made me do. No,
They
chose
reverse it
to
on
do
you.
that.
Yep. You're
So
just
that
too
has just
sensitive.
put up the power and control wheel that I was just talking about. So if you can, screenshot that and have a read of it later, because that is huge advice and people don't realize they're in an abusive cycle until they see that, or they are talking to somebody like us in a group. The first event we had with Boo Bitches was at the Cabin on 360. And the event was fantastic, but it was
Yes.
sitting around with, I think we had, I don't know how many people we had, 30, 20,
Y'all
20.
It
had a
was
good number.
It
I
was a
never
it,
remember
lot.
it was a
that.
But
large crowd.
sitting around that bonfire and
Uh-huh.
hearing women say, I thought it was just me. I
Hmm.
thought I was
I've been
alone in
there.
this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But to sit in a circle of people in a safe environment that are saying, you're not alone, here's my story, was
Mhm.
amazingly healing for so many people. And it really did bond quite a few of us together. And we're still friends to this day. And I really think that more groups need to start focusing some of their, I mean, I love Toys for Tots. I love donate to the Wounded Warrior Project. I love all these, but pick women, pick survivors now and then, please,
Yeah.
and
Yeah,
donate to
exactly.
your local women's shelters. Even if you can't donate money, call the shelter or go on their website. They have lists of things they need, from feminine products to diapers and wipes to money to gas cards to bus route cards, because these women that are trying to escape this abuse have to plan out what they're going to do to get away from their abuser. They have to make a plan. They can't just pack up and leave. It's not as easy as you think.
Right.
Most of the people that I've dealt with when I've been dealing with them in the hospital, they barely made it out the door with their shoes, let alone their pocketbook, let alone their kid's diaper bag. They're barely out the door with their keys.
Right.
Right.
So those situations when they get to that point are so terrifying. And Gwen's a retired police officer. I'm going to let her talk a little bit about what it's like when you arrive on a domestic call and what police are limited to do.
Yes.
Yes. I would love that. And then I have a question after that.
Mhm.
Um, as an officer, nothing pained me more than when we would get there and it was obvious what was going on. The marks are there, the disarrangement of the room, the kids are screaming and crying. Oh, he was just upset. Oh, he didn't mean it. Oh, it's this. Oh, it's that. Or, and I've had this happen before. Oh, she was just upset. I don't care.
Mm,
Abuse is abuse.
Yeah.
right.
I have arrested women for domestic assault just
Correct.
as
It goes
Excellent.
well.
both ways.
That's
It
what I wanted to
goes
make sure we
both
talked about.
ways. It
Men
Yes.
on
goes
women,
both
women on men,
ways.
men on men, women on women. It
Yep.
goes all
I
directions.
I got to one in particular call. The teenage daughter was there. The wife didn't have any marks on her. She was
Mhm.
talking about how her and her husband had gotten into a fight, this, that, and the other. He said he went in the bathroom and locked the door to keep her away from him until she cooled off. This was a good sized fella, okay?
Right.
He said that she come through the door and started going at him. The daughter, who was separated from them the moment we got there, course her story corresponded with dad's. She
Mhm.
wasn't around them or anything. We immediately separated her from mom and dad as soon as we got there. I go and look at his arms because while he's talking, he goes to do something and he goes to, to describe something and his arm comes up and I said, whoa. And I went like this and pushed his wrist back. He had defense wounds, what we call defense wounds.
Right.
She didn't have any. I immediately said, seen enough. Turned around, went to her. I said, I need you to turn around, place your hands behind your back, please. I know you're not going to arrest me. There's no open for discussion. You're under arrest. I flipped her around just like a fish. Blap, blap, blap. Let's go.
Yeah.
Took her right with me. She wanted to fight me, and I was like, I'm going to let the judge sort it out. He has
Right.
marks. You do not. The judge found her guilty as the primary aggressor. You know, now, did he probably face heat from some of the guys? So what? It's domestic violence.
Right.
I've had
Yeah.
women tell me, oh, well, he didn't mean it. He didn't. The best thing, the
Or I
best
love
thing,
him.
the best thing the state of Virginia did years ago was say, if there's obvious signs of assault, the officer shall arrest. It's not up to you anymore. It's up to
Yeah.
the officer.
Yeah, I agree with
No,
that.
it is. It is. And that's the same thing with child abuse now too.
Yes.
In the state of Virginia. I mean, you people don't realize. See, I didn't really want to go there, but it is a good point that needs to be talked about. The child abuse part of it,
Mm-hmm.
family mother, family member, whatever. Um, they think that here in the state of Virginia, I know at least in Henrico, the way that you can control the situation, the parents have a lot more control than most parents in the United States. I will say that to help support and apply. The police make it boldly notice you have the parenting control. Use the parenting control, but the cool thing is there's a huge support of DCC in the schools.
Mm-hmm.
So, you know, you got to hear them out. You let them come to your house. Let it be truthful and be honest
Mm-hmm.
about everything. Because if it is not you, that means it could be one of your family members, and it
Right.
might be somebody you didn't even think of that is abusing your child.
That's
So
another
just for
point too.
example,
Is a lot of times I went through something years ago with a family member of mine. I'm not going to disclose a whole lot, but with a family member of mine who a family member had assaulted them several times. That family member is now in prison for the rest of their life. I made sure of that,
Right.
and it was the last person I ever expected would ever do anything to this individual. You would expect the next door neighbor, you expect maybe somebody at school, you would expect a
what is
complete
a stranger?
stranger, but
What's
you
a
would not
stranger look like?
expect, right, you would not
Right.
expect the one person that you would trust with this individual. Those
Yeah.
are the people you need to be watching.
So here's another thing. Almost all rapes occur by someone that the woman or the raped knows,
Yeah.
the victim knows.
Yep.
My rapist was somebody I knew.
Hmm.
You
Mm-hmm.
know, I asked for a ride home and got way more than I bargained for, but I knew him.
Right.
Most people, 1 in 4 folks are going to be abused every minute. How many of us are in this group right now? How many of us are in the comment section? Which, by the way, if you've not looked at your comments, it's been lit. We should
Oh
be
yeah.
Yeah.
I know
It's lit.
we're gonna be talking about those
Yeah.
questions that are coming
But
through.
everybody you look at, every third, you know how they say every third person you drive by is drunk?
Yep.
Yeah.
Every third person you pass in the grocery or every third child you see is being assaulted or battered.
Yep.
And that's so sad to say, but that's the statistics.
I
Mhm.
also want to
And
point out right here that I'm sorry, Tracy, go ahead.
no, 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 no,
I
baby, you
want to
go.
point out right here, Jean's comment saying that people say
Hi,
if they're really
Jean.
scared, they would leave. When you're
Oh,
Yeah.
scared for
yeah,
your kids in your life, you do what you have to do to survive. And she's spot
correct.
on
Yep.
because I made a video clip a while back. I think it was for the cabin when we did the fundraiser for the cabin on 360. I
Mhm.
made a clip talking about domestic violence. And the number one reason why people don't leave their abuser is fear.
Yeah.
Fear
Yeah.
of financial instability, fear of something worse happening to them or their children, fear of the unknown, fear of what's going to happen. You know, they're paying the rent, they're doing this, they're doing that. There's so many different levels of
Financial
fear
abuse
that
is
people
domestic.
don't think about it, you
It's Jen
know?
says. Jen Jacobs is the one who posted that comment.
Yeah.
But domestic
There's so many levels of fear that people
can't
don't
go.
think about. It's not
Mhm.
just fear of being hit. It's not just fear of being locked in a room. It's not just fear of an assault. There's many different levels of fear, and your abuser knows that, and they use that against them.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, sometimes the only escape is when your abuser has killed you.
I got to say, that's the most dangerous time for the person being abused, whoever they may be. The most dangerous time for them is when they're trying to make the escape.
Okay, you got it. So
Yeah.
let's also talk about some other dangerous times. Hi, Keith.
Oh, hey,
Yep,
Keith.
yep. Um, Holidays is an extremely testy time. We talked about it because you're trapped at home with them when everybody's home from work and all the kids are home from
Mm-hmm.
school, and money is really tight in this economy. So the providers being, providers are very, very put upon financially. There's a lot of family stress and a lot of family drama that we have to deal with during this time. You might be dealing with death of a loved one at this time. Holidays are some of the worst times to be a sexual assault counselor in an emergency room
Yeah.
because we see it. We see a lot of it. The other time is what Gwen is saying when someone is trying to leave their aggressor, when they're trying to leave from that domestic violence or sexual assault situation. That's when we're making plans. Like when I was working at Safe Passage in DeKalb, Illinois, and we're making the escape plans, that's when we have a go bag packed in the car with all your basic documents, a change of clothes for you and your kids, all your medications are in the trunk. If you have to have papers, you have those papers available. You make sure you have your passport, your driver's license. Because a lot of these sex traffickers that are also in domestic violence take your papers. And now where do they go? So I live in Springfield, Illinois, and one of the things they're cracking down on right now is sex shops. We have 7 of them that we know of, and one of them is in the back of my driveway. I watch trucks come and go out of this little Oriental shop. The only time I ever see anybody come out of that building is the madam when she takes out the trash. And now they're advertising that they've got a brand new young girl. Boy, they've been busy.
Wow.
So it happens, people. It happens. It happens everywhere. You have to have your eyeballs open and not ignore it.
That's one of the
When
things
one
right
of your
there.
friends comes to you and says, "Hey, I have a problem," listen.
Don't ignore it.
Right.
No,
You
no.
hear that symptoms. You help them, or you go find a police department. You
Yeah.
find an officer. You help that friend. That's what it's about. That's why we have to be pulling together.
Mm-hmm.
I think too sometimes people don't leave because they don't realize what's happening to them. If it hasn't escalated to physical, you can stay in the cycle of the mental and the verbal
And
abuse
financial.
for years
Mm-hmm.
because I hate it's sad to say, but you get used to it. Like it
Yeah.
becomes your normal. So you're so used to it, you don't think twice about it. And then, then you also you mentioned walking on eggshells. You sit in that stage of walking on eggshells and that anxiety so long that you can't see even what's going on around you. You're just
Well,
it's almost like survival
heard
mode
the
nonstop.
principle of the frog, right?
Yeah.
You put a frog in cold water and put it on the stove and turn the heat up slowly. That frog will boil to death and never know that the temperature's changed.
Yep.
That is being stuck living with a domestic abuser. It
Yep.
gets hotter and hotter and hotter until it finally cooks you alive.
Mhm.
Amen.
Parable of the frog. The trick is you got to get out of the pan, and that is really, really hard to do.
Yeah.
So being able to go out and do investigations and have a lot of fun, but also have a platform that that we stand on for Boo Bitches, that is, we are going to help support survivors of this. We're going to make it known that we're aware this is happening. We're going to be an open ground for people to come and talk to us in our groups so that we might be able to get them with that shelter that we're donating to. We hand out the cards, we hand out the phone numbers. Are you safe? Do you feel safe at home? Is there anything we can do to help? And a lot of women and some men have come forward and said, "Hey, can I get that card? Can I get a card?"
Mm-hmm.
And we'll pull us aside and have a talk about it.
Right.
So if groups are also willing to work on doing that and make it forefront, we might be able to make a bigger impact and bigger difference.
Very good
Yes.
point.
But
The
I want to take it really small, real small. And I'll say this and I'm going to let it go and amongst the conversations. When I am on a paranormal investigation and I am hanging out in the dark with Mr. McBuddy Gus, and Mr. McBuddy Gus decides he wants to get handsy with my boobies. No, ma'am, no, sir.
It's still abuse.
That shit ain't gonna fly. That's sexual assault.
That's
Yep.
right.
So when you're in the dark with Mr. Buddy Gus or Susie Snowflake or whoever that decides that they're going to act inappropriately, you need to make a scene. You need to
Yes.
tell somebody.
Yeah.
You need to make it blatantly known that you've just been assaulted. Because a lot of problems are happening where it's some of the tour guides at the locations. It's people that you trust on your team.
Yep.
Yeah.
It's the boyfriend who you just broke up with who won't keep his hands off you.
Yes.
You are not alone. Please speak up. Don't be afraid to get kicked off your team. Don't be afraid to lose access to a location.
Yep.
Don't be afraid to call a snake and put it out there. But
A predator is a predator.
on the same note, don't be no lion heifer making up bullshit to start fucking drama. Knock it off.
Right
Don't
there.
cry wolf if you don't have a problem.
Thank you. Yep.
So both guidelines. But now we're into paraethics. What's ethical?
Well,
Ethical
that's true.
behavior would be remembering that you don't have permission to touch somebody in the dark for any reason, even to goose them in the butt to scare them. No, you do not.
Mm-mm.
And don't lie about your experiences because it really does damage locations
Yes.
and people and livelihoods. Because a lot of us are in the paranormal to make money. We are not. Gwen and I are not in this to make a dime. We donate everything we make to women's shelters.
Mm-hmm.
But
And
for
furthermore,
those
when
Go ahead,
just to
Gwen.
add on to what Tracy was saying, if something like that happens, whether you're male or female, somebody goes to grab you or does something that they're not supposed to be doing, verbalize it. Do not touch me. I will
Yeah.
flip a
Get
light
your
on
hands
so
off
quick it will
me.
make your
Be
head
loud.
spin. What's
Make
As
me
going
loud
on?
as
loud.
you can.
They will be
Make your
escorted.
team
They
come
will be
running.
escorted out immediately by me, by some. Don't let this fool you, by me or by somebody else.
Gwen will kick your ass.
Secondly, if somebody makes an accusation, I'm going to find out quick, fast, and in a hurry what's going on. I have those skills to do that. I'm going to find out quick, fast, and in a hurry what's going on. And if I find out you're lying, I'm going to repeat what I said earlier. I'm going to escort you out quick, fast, and in a hurry. And I'll be sure that you're not allowed anywhere else ever again.
Again. Yep. I do, Jen. Jen's mentioning about if you're going to blame somebody, you better come with the receipts. You better have proof.
Yeah, that's true.
If something happened to you, I am there for you.
Correct.
While I'm there, I am there for you. I will help you out. I will do everything in my power to help you out. But don't lie. We have enough drama in the field as it
Was
is.
that an eye roll, Gwen? My God, I felt that over here. Holy cow. Let me
I don't
catch
think
the
she's
eyeball
the only one.
back.
What are you talking about? She wasn't the only one. Give me
I saw all y'all. But Gwen's was like her whole body. Both y'all did.
Yeah,
it
she's
too,
like-
but-
That was
Just
a
like
whole
the
hair
hair
roll.
So to stop the paradrama and the lies requires paraethics, requires you to be an ethical person. I'm not saying don't speak your truth, but I am requesting back it up. And that's one of the reasons, like if somebody gets handsy with you, don't get quiet and run around and hide. Throw a fit. Let us know. We'll come running from the third floor of the Wildwood Mansion to find out what's going on the first.
Yeah.
And then we're going to turn the lights on and we're going to have a discussion and see if police need to be called.
And you know why? I don't mean to cut you off, Tracy.
No,
I want
you
to say
don't.
this. The reason why you want to do it, because the longer you wait to say something down the road,
The worse they're going to make you look.
Yeah.
Exactly.
It becomes a he said, she said.
Exactly.
Which is
I
another
wanna-
reason why you don't, when you are assaulted, especially sexually, you do not bathe, you do not change your clothes, you do not brush your teeth or comb your hair or wash your hands. You go directly to the emergency room. You do not pass go, because that sane sexual assault nurse examiner is going to put you on a brand new white sheet, strip you down, brush your body, swab your mouth, clean out underneath your fingernails, swab your junk for all kinds of DNA, and then they're going to put you in a hospital gown and slippers. They
Yep.
need all of that evidence. So if you are feeling guilty, it's my fault. I made them do this. No, nobody asks to be raped. Rape is about power and control, not about sex.
Correct.
Yep.
So
Right.
you take yourself to the hospital, you request a SANE nurse, again, that is a sexual assault nurse examiner. They
Yep.
are licensed by the state. They are the only ones that can do the rape kits. Otherwise, they are disqualified in a court of law.
Yep.
Not even a doctor can do them. A SANE nurse examiner. I'm going to keep saying that. Go and have the kit done because that is your only evidence. Then go home and sit down on the floor of that shower and cry like a freaking baby. But
You
don't
deserve
do it till you've gone to the hospital first.
Yep,
The
exactly.
same thing with sexual or with even just physical assault. You have to file a complaint immediately while the marks are fresh and
Yeah.
while they're still standing in front of you. If it's at one of our events, no, ma'am, no, sir. We're going to take care of it right now.
Right.
Yep.
And I would like
Events.
to say that it wouldn't be old school justice, but I can't make any promises.
We need to stand closer together in the paranormal field. I'm just going to
Correct.
speak on this one because predatory behavior is becoming rapid in the paranormal community. We
Mhm.
need to stand close to each other and protect each other, and men need to stand up a little bit more to
Thank
stand up
you.
for other.
Yeah.
Thank
It's
you.
not right.
Yeah. People
If
just need to
someone says
people just
they've
need to
done it,
remember.
believe them.
People just
I'm
need
sorry,
to
go ahead.
remember that it costs absolutely nothing to be a decent human being and help somebody out
Yeah.
when something's going on.
Absolutely.
Absolutely
Know who
nothing.
to come running to. Know your crew. If something happens at one of these events, oh shit, yep, I'm going there. All right, screw this. Pop, let's do this. So at one of these events, get it be a Paracon or a paranormal expo, whatever it may be, and you know one of these popular people that are there and you're all starstruck, remember you have just become their bait. Okay. I'm saying this out loud. I don't care what anybody thinks about it because I've said this before. Be aware of the people, and just because they're popular doesn't mean they have morals. Things happen. Careful about these parties you get involved with at these paranormal events. Careful about the people. Keep your tribe close to you so they can watch you.
And keep your drink
Yeah.
covered. You don't know these
Yes.
people.
Oh,
If you're going to go out drinking, Jesus, buy you know what is as simple as buying an unlubricated condom, popping the hole for the straw to go through and putting it over your drink.
thank you. Yep.
Because
Now,
I've already had people come to me and tell me that they've been date raped at some of these paracons because they got drugged.
3 times in
Thank you.
2022.
And it's
now,
absolutely mind-boggling to me that these would become predator events. But anywhere that there's money, anywhere that there's alcohol, and anywhere that there's
Yep.
women, and anybody who thinks that they're a para-celeb or that they have kudos or credibility or that they're some big shot, you know what? I don't care who you are, your penis ain't that big. Don't come at me, bro. Don't. So here's one of the goals for Boo Bitches in the future. And Gwen knows this too, but she's still probably gonna laugh about it. I would like to see us, we already are an international group, but I would like to see us that if you see one of our crew walk in wearing a Boo Bitches t-shirt, you know your shit's about to get rocked because you've been reported and now you're
Yep.
on blast. And we're not only here to investigate the cool building that we're in, but we're here to investigate you and the rumors about your team. And let me tell you, we're coming. We're coming. And we show up on your investigations as just a general ticket holder. You need to know you're on blast. You've been warned.
I love it.
If I had the nuclear bomb sound, I'd drop it right there.
but now I
Thank
wanna
you.
I wanna point out, Robert. He said not
Yeah,
to make
I
light of the
saw that.
situation, but what if the spirits are the ones touching inappropriately? Now,
You know what? We
it's
are getting back to
known
the
to
truth.
happen.
But you can sure turn around and make sure it's a ghost and not,
And it's a
Mr.
shame that
Buddy Doc.
Loper isn't here. It's a shame that Loper isn't here for this one. Tracy's laughing. She knows what I'm talking about. Poor Loper has been groped. I don't know how many times on investigations.
Rob
Paranormal
too.
activity.
He has gotten to the point now that he just takes it as a compliment. I don't know.
Think, oh, stay
Me?
like me.
I haven't really I've like had breath on my neck and I've heard things said to me. Maybe a hand on my shoulder that felt kind of
Right.
creepy vibe.
Yeah.
But as far as actual groping, I haven't had that happen. But if I ever do, I think my response is going to be something like, "You wait till I get to the other side."
Right.
I
Right.
hope you're wearing a Boo Bitches t-shirt when you do it too.
I'm
Spirit
here. Where
paddle.
he at?
Spirit paddle.
That's funny.
So look,
So-
you guys, we've got 10 minutes left on the show.
What do
Two
you want to
questions.
ask about?
Exactly. Now we're getting in. We've talked about the paranormal. We talked about boo bitches. We've talked about domestic violence. But how did y'all pull the paranormal into? How did you get involved with the paranormal?
We're both investigators.
Well, how did you become investigators? What was your
Ooh.
experiences?
Gwen, I'm
I
gonna let
really
you go
didn't.
first.
I really didn't have a choice.
If you have not had the chance to read her book, Embracing My Strange,
I started seeing and talking to shit a long time ago. My parents had me tested. I'm not crazy, okay? I'm gonna pull a Sheldon on that one.
excuse me, you're in my seat.
Yeah, pretty much. No, but I've communicated with spirit ever since I was small, like 4, 5 years old is like my earliest recollection of spirit communication, and it's just been going on since then. So, yeah, I've been dealing with it my entire life, and I honestly don't know anything that would be not paranormal.
That's fine.
Okay. Well, I know how that goes.
Robert said my spot.
My spot. That's my spot. That's my spot. That's funny. Much like Gwen, I started experiencing spirit when I was little. My playmates were not imaginary to me. You know, the spirits that I would hang out with in the cemetery, I was safer in the cemetery reading a book and having a picnic than I was at the playground at school because of the bullying and harassment that I suffered from.
How sad
So
is that?
spirit became a really comfortable, safe place for me. And once I realized as I got older that nobody else really saw them, nobody else really dealt with them, is when I started to realize I had a gift. So dealing with the paranormal and dealing with spirit has been something since I was really young. And I am never afraid of them, even when everybody says, "Ooh, this is a bad one." There's a story. There's a reason.
Mhm.
Everybody wants to say, "Ooh, it's a demon." Stop it.
Yeah.
Stop it.
This goes back to the whole drama thing I was talking
I'm
about.
telling you.
Yeah.
Stop
Well, you know,
it. Not everything's a demon. Good
This
gracious.
actually came up in conversation last night, and I just want to bring it to spot because it'll be something to think about. You know, back in the days, that sulfur smell was on multiple levels. It was petroleum. It
Yes.
was in makeup. You know, diesel.
Depending on what Grandpa ate for dinner.
Thank you. So, you know, it just because
This
you
one.
smell.
Rhonda's laughing. You know I'm right.
You are right.
Yeah,
What the dog had for dinner.
Right?
yeah, yeah. So I just want to bring that to the forefront because I got to give props to Sean Elliott, you know, our cohort over there at Hill City Paranormal. We got into a huge conversation about that last night towards the end of the event. And a lady said she was smelling sulfur. I'm like, that's interesting. And I just, you know, I'm gathering information. I don't go and point. But Sean said, well, you know, could the possibility have been because we were near the train depot, we were near the tracks, et cetera, et cetera. It was a cemetery. Cemetery.
Cemetery.
Or
Ooh.
your body breaks down and gives off
Right.
Right.
gas.
Real
So
bad.
yeah, and this great into a great conversation last night about careful about just shooting out your mouth and saying demon. Oh,
Right.
geez. And it was
I mean,
valid.
it might get you a TV show, but it's not going to get you credibility. As an investigator who's truly trying to do science, truly trying to investigate, it might get you a TV show, Zach Vegas, but it's not going to get you credibility. So one last shout out before we go that I do want to talk about, because we did do some phenomenal investigating, and I know they're both booking for the next year. Wildwood Sanitarium and Hinsdale House are both booking on their calendars for next year. That is a definite book them both, do them both. It was a fantastic trip. We went in August. Fantastic trip to New York, and we got to see not only beautiful country, have great food, phenomenal company with our team. We melded, I don't remember how many different paranormal investigating teams together to create one unified paranormal team, and that's exactly what para unity is. No ego, no drama, no
Mm-mm.
nothing, just
Right.
working and working well together. So thank you for my Hinsdale team. You guys freaking rocked. You made me really love paranormal again and doing
Yes.
investigations again.
Yes.
And if you are looking for some great places to go, please look at the Wildwood Sanitarium Project with Brooke and Lori. Please check out the Hinsdale House with Daniel Clays and get up there and go see them. So just one shout out for those two fantastic places before we sign off.
And I still don't know what that was in the upstairs left bedroom that jumped me, that Loper had to carry me down the steps in the Hinsdale house backwards.
We actually had to call our investigation at 3 in the morning and pack up and leave because Gwen got so sick when she got attacked by something.
Oh,
And
Don't
it
know what it
really
was.
did, it drained
Oh,
her like a battery.
but don't
Like,
worry, mofo, I'm gonna come back.
oh yeah, we're going back. Gwen, I'm going with you when you go. Just know that in advance. But yeah, that was Hinsdale House really rocked it. We also had I think, what did they say it ended up being? What kind of wildcat was out in the woods?
It was some type of a large.
Bobcat. They
Oh,
said it
Was it a
was a
mountain?
Bobcat.
Or a
bobcat.
mountain lion or a
So
bobcat?
we got no. They finally confirmed it was a bobcat.
Okay,
So we had a bobcat roaming the property. We had an elemental traveling through the trees. We had
that was
something
fun.
take out Gwen, and I had my very first doppelganger experience.
And a
oh
Oh
wow.
partridge in a
wow.
pear
In a pear
tree.
tree.
I know. Perfect timing.
Thank you so much for having us. We'd love to come back and visit with you guys again. And thank you to
Oh,
all
we
of
would
you
love
that are
it.
in the comment section.
Absolutely.
You all have been fantastic. I've been reading around and checking things out. So one other guest I would highly recommend for you on another show is Jen Jacobs of
Okay.
her
Yeah,
Oh,
Violent
absolutely.
definitely.
Yes,
I
Please
think
get
definitely,
her
Definitely.
on board.
I think Rhonda
definitely.
put me on to her already, and we're going to be
Yep.
Yep.
talking to Jen very
Fantastic.
soon. Where can people find y'all? Communicate to you, find out your information. What's going on?
Gwen, that's you.
We have our Facebook page, Boo Bitches, and we just started our YouTube page, so that's slowly coming about. So those are the
Okay.
two main platforms right now. So as things progress,
Yep.
maybe we'll be adding some more stuff, but those are the two main things: is YouTube and Facebook at this time.
Yep. I
Rock on.
myself am only on Facebook. You can look me up under my name, Tracy Drell. Feel free to message me if you have questions. And we're also sponsoring FireCons Paranormal for Boo Bitches, and we're sponsoring Paranormal Rockdown, which is coming up July 18th and 19th. So if you've not checked out those two things, please look them up. We've got our badge and label on them because, again, we want people to know that we're coming, that we're paying attention, and get our name out there so when we show up, they all go, oh, shit.
We need that. We
Love it.
need more of that.
It's the
Travelers,
5'1" of fury. Run!
that's right.
No, but
She got
I
that
got
on
that
the
one
back of her
behind me.
shirt.
also too, on a side note, if anybody,
Yes.
shameless plug here, if anybody wants to find out what's going on with my books or with BPI, gluckett.com, all that information is going to be on there, and all of our social media links, the connections are all on that, gluckett.com.
Okay.
Yep.
There it is.
She's a fantastic writer. If you've not checked out her book, Embracing My Strange, I highly recommend. Highly. So, we love y'all.
Love
Thank
y'all
y'all.
so,
Thank
so
you.
much.
Have
Thank
a
you,
wonderful holiday.
everybody. Hi to
Merry
everybody
Christmas.
that left comments.
Happy
Thank you
New
guys
Year.
so much. Y'all
And
are
we'll see you on the
wonderful.
next show, you guys.
That's
That's
right.
right.
We will see y'all on the next go. Travelers and Ghost
Mwah!
Bike. Check them out. Don't miss it. Get involved. Stay in touch. Encourage your team to look for what we talked about tonight. And don't be scared. Stand
Right.
up, stand straight. Travelers, you know how we do this. Get your board, surf that cosmic wave. Let's help each other. It's that time of season. So let us do this together. May virtue be yours.
Be good humans.
Bless y'all.